Hi everyone, on this week's episode I'll be trying to trap smoke inside of resin. Most of you probably remember the episode where I lit a match encased in resin. Now one of the most popular comments on that video was asking if the smoke was still trapped inside. Now as you can see, all the smoke has disappeared. It actually disappeared a couple of hours after lighting the match. Now I think the reason for that is when I glued the two halves together, I may have left a little air gap here and it could have all escaped through there. So on this week's episode, I'm going to try it again, but I'm going to do it a little different. Now the first change I'm going to make is instead of using matches, I'm going to use a piece of paper. Now I'm hoping that using paper will give me more smoke. Now the second thing I'm going to change, instead of using two halves of resin with a void in the middle, I'm going to use a glass jar. So the reason that I'm going to use the jar is so that I can put the paper inside, put it inside of resin and seal it up with one pour. That way we won't have any joins for any smoke to escape. Now I know a lot of you are probably asking yourself, why not just light the paper inside the jar? Well, I really don't think this lid's going to seal tight enough to stop the air from coming out. But just in case it will work, I'm going to try it as our control. Well, as you just saw, I had a heap of trouble trying to get the paper to light using the magnifying glass, but after I dropped in a couple of match heads, they went up straight away, but it looks like the paper didn't burn. Now we do have some smoke trapped in there, so I guess now all we have to do is wait and see how long it lasts. While we're waiting, I'm going to cut up some match heads, put it in my jar, and then put the jar in the cup. Now I'm also going to attach this rod to the bottom to keep it halfway. I'll attach the clear rod with some UV resin. Now that the UV resin's all cured, we can seal it up with some epoxy resin. It's now time to pop it in the pressure pot to cure. Well, it looks like we've got a nice casting. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take it out of this cup. I'm going to put it on the lathe and turn it down a little bit. I'm just going to get rid of these ridges. That way we'll have a nice view when we light it up. It's now all sanded and polished and we can set these matches alight. But before we do, let's take a look at the control. Well, as you can see, there's no smoke left in there. There's a little bit of soot on the sidewalls of the glass, but apart from that, it's completely empty. So this has been left for about 30 minutes and that's all it took for all the smoke to disappear. Now, like I said earlier, I don't think this lid has a very good seal, and I think that might be the reason why most of the air escaped. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to do one full casting, because I don't think there's any way that air's going to be able to escape this. Now it's right on midday and there's heaps of sun outside, so it's the perfect opportunity to get the magnifying glass and set these alight. Well, as you just saw, it took the same amount of time for the smoke to disappear as it did for the control. Now that's really surprised me, since there's no way for any air to escape. Now if you guys know what happened, please let me know. Now there's one thing I did notice once the smoke cleared, is that we only lit 2 of the match heads, so there's still another 3 in there that we can light up. So let's go do it. Well, I had a little bit of trouble getting them to go, but once I turned the blank on the side, they went up pretty easy. It's really hard to get that focal point right where you need it. Well, that's all for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Once again, if any of you know why the smoke's disappearing, please let me know. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.